What's up, everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Witcher 2 Arena mode, and from what I can tell, there is no ability to save, and therefore we are basically...
The white wolf creeps from his lair to bite mercilessly at his foes like a badger.
We are basically picking up right where we left off last time, and this, for that reason, may end up being the last video of this kind, but we'll see what happens. So, last time we did, of course, not succeed against these Kingslayers. They were capable of dealing quite a bit of damage, and that made things difficult. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna make sure we put our Quen on very early and try to take out some of the Kingslayers, and ideally not step into the fire immediately like that, or not get infernoed immediately. Now basically they hit me with those spin moves, and it dealt a ridiculous amount of damage. We did still get incinerated there, so we're probably already dead. And that guy's gonna finish us off. But if we can get at least one of these guys down, I feel like maybe that's a bit of a consolation prize. Maybe. Or maybe that's not really feasible. I don't know. Excuse me. We had our Ard sign up, or at least our Quen sign up, or at least I thought we did. Also, you were definitely having your back face to us, and then you magically turned around and hit us? Okay. Alright then.
If you require support in the arena, consider my sword at your disposal.
So that is an option. We theoretically could afford having, I think, either Vincent or
first. Then I'll be on
Harold join us. See, their prices are listed here. Yeah, could even have both of them. I don't know if it's possible to have two people help you out at once. We would not be able to afford the sorceress, but I do feel like we should be able to do this, I think. Let's see. Do we have the signs available to us, or the places of power available to us this time around? Not working that time, it doesn't seem, so that might have been a nice little advantage for us to get, but unfortunately, I'm not so sure we're gonna get it. So, alright, what can we learn from the previous time? We definitely, I think putting on the Quen sign early is crucial. If we don't do that, we're gonna get blasted with a fireball immediately from the mages, or from the mage, singular. Question for me, I think, that I'm still not sure how to answer is, should we be prioritizing going after the sorcerer first or the Kingslayers? Because normally the strategy in such a combat would typically be go for the ranged enemies first, because otherwise they're just going to pepper you from a distance and you're not going to be able to block or mitigate their damage at all. And then once you do get rid of them, then you can have a much more straightforward hand-to-hand fight with whoever the melee characters you have remaining. So that is kind of what I was trying to do before, so I'm not sure that's going to be much different if we take that approach here. Maybe we can just be a little more committed to it. So I don't have an obvious answer here. This does just generally seem like it's much harder than the previous fights we have. One thing I would say is that with... Oh, that's the wrong one. With only 3 enemies here, theoretically, we can get rid of one. That should make a pretty humongous difference. Okay, please swing the sword, Carol. Swinging the sword is important. Okay. So like there, for instance, we did manage to get in a few quick swings against you. Now you are body blocking the Kingslayers, or at least you were. It was proving very beneficial for a while there. Okay, but now we need to get out of there. It seems like the Kingslayers are just crazy DPS machines. And they will absolutely obliterate us if we let them. Alright, where'd the mage go? I don't actually know. Is he gone? I didn't think we got rid of him. I didn't think so, but oh, nope, you were hiding over there, that's why. And then you throw on a shield. I think the mage can heal, which is just about the last thing that I wanted to happen. Because I'm pretty confident that we dealt more than that much damage before. Alright, our Gwen is about to expire, even though we have not yet taken a hit. So let's bear that in mind. Right now it's about to expire. You do that and immediately get out of the way of their attacks. And then you throw the shield back on. Our Gwen is gone. So we now need to get back to rolling. Rolling on a river. Oh, very bad timing there. And also, horrendous timing. Okay, we're off to a good start. But things have gotten significantly worse since then. I really wish you could hit your friends with that, because that would be extremely helpful. I think we did successfully hit one of them there, but not really the person I was going for. The mage is low on HP. I would love to finish him off. Excuse me, sir, you did not have your shield up when I first swung my sword, and then you got your shield up before you actually finish your animation, which feels a little dishonest. Okay, yeah, the signage is not going terribly well at the moment. Take it out of the way! Now, come in for an attack, ideally. Oh, are you serious? Really? He shields up when he has 1 HP. No! Not what I wanted to see, needless to say. I just want to get rid of you. There we go. Okay. Now we just have the Kingslayers, which is still not a cakewalk by any means. Because they do block most of our damage, seemingly. But we can use more offensive signs now, potentially. Okay, and that might be the way to make sure we get in some hits. Is to block, and then follow up with an attack or two. I think that, whoa, they did still deal some damage there. And they just deal so much. Such a high amount of damage. Alright, that didn't work. I was actually intending to use Ard, not that. So, oops. We will not, of course, regenerate any HP, or rather vigor, I should say, while we still have our shield up. If we time it right, we can hit them right after they finish their combo, but they deal so much damage with the combo that does make me nervous to give that a shot. I'm trying to wait it out a little bit here, try to get more vigor back. That's not what I wanted to do. Needless to say, that gives us a lot less margin for error. I mean, yes, I am deliberately dashing away because these guys will obliterate us if they get a hit in like that. And they did get a hit in immediately after placing our sign up. So we have one offensive sign to work with here. And then you still managed to block. This is rather tricky. Rather tricky. I do think that is potentially a way to go. Please activate that sign. That is crucial. And why did you step back in that direction, Daryl? Oh my god. It's not making it any easier. I don't want to walk into the fire. We have all of our sign juice remaining, so let's go back. Taking a bit of an offensive approach here. So, you'll excuse the, oh my god, the extremely slow strategy here, but I honestly don't know how else to take care of these guys. because otherwise they will obliterate us. As we've already seen on a couple of occasions. I just hope that this will ultimately work, and I don't know that it will. Yep. Got greedy. There were two of them standing next to each other, blocked one of them, attacked him while he was staggered. The other one jumped in, because he was not staggered, and tapped us dead. So, trying to think of what we did learn that time. And I think the blocking strategy is pretty solid. Definitely not perfect, because what happens is we look at our character right now. What we'll see... Oh... is the damage reduction while parrying with full vigor, at least. We would have 100% damage reduction if we had full vigor. So what happened was, we were putting on the shield sign, Quen, and we were blocking, and when we block, we do still take a little bit of damage. And therefore, what that means is, when we have the shield sign up and we're blocking, we do lose the shield sign even when we block. So it meant that I, even after blocking, had to either dash away soon after and put the shield back on, or it meant that, you know, we're just going in there and taking a risk. We can follow up and try to get some attacks in, but if there are any subsequent hits soon thereafter, then we are taking full damage, and that's ultimately what did end up killing us. Was that, yes, we did block the attack from one of the guys, but I tried to follow up with a swing of our own, and the other one, like I said, popped in with a little poke, and that was enough to kill us. So, that is tricky. I'm not really sure that we can do much better than what we... or strategy-wise, I'm not sure we can do much better than what we just tried.
Greetings.
Except maybe applying the blocking strategy against the Kingslayers from the beginning. I do still think we need to take out the Sorcerer first, because otherwise there's going to also be fireballs getting rid of our shields, and I think we can't really have that many variables. Okay, sneaking up behind us. And teleporting. Directly in front of us, fortunately, albeit only temporarily. Please stop moving! I did not mean to attack those Kingslayers, but it ended up happening because Geralt decided that it was close enough that it was worthwhile. I do think when the Sorcerer does that green effect around him, that is the heal effect. And that was probably not a good idea, but I did it. So I kind of wanted to target the Sorcerer, but the Kingslayers were next to him. That back on, and try not to get hit immediately thereafter. Where did the magician go? Over here is the answer. Despite having a shield on, we still dealt damage that time, which is, I believe, a first. We need to get out of there immediately, otherwise we are toast. Okay, now I want to get you. Ideally without getting hit in the face. But such is the way of things. That rarely ends up happening, and we unfortunately did get hit by a fireball, and soon thereafter, a sword swing. Did you actually hit your friend with that fireball? It really looked like it. Okay, did lose the sign there. Didn't really look like it, but it did happen. I'm really hoping that it just so happens that these guys are a bit of a difficulties fight, and that afterward does get simpler from here, but I have no way of knowing that for certain. Wow. Okay, so they did just barely sneak in a hit there. As you saw, it dealt a ton of damage. There's just so little margin for error here. Especially when our sign goes away. Just need to get a finishing blow on the Sorcerer, which we did not do there, despite it looking like it. Now we have. Alright, so we're back to having just the Kingslayers left, but that is still not out of the woods yet. Okay, so that was the strategy we deployed last time. Quen sign for the shield, and then block and use that brief moment. Try to follow up with hits. Got a little greedy and tried to get in some additional attacks there. You do need to separate them out a bit because otherwise the other one will follow up with a hit of their own, and that's kind of what I'm anticipating would happen here with them very close to one another. Might we be able to line them up a bit? Oh, that is just terrible the way they're positioned right now. Oh, that did still hit us! And it dealt damage despite us having the sign on. Okay, I take issue with that. Block, and follow up, run away, and shield. Once we appear to have enough time to do that, and again, not what I meant to do. Also not what I meant to do there. I'm curious, might we be able to do that? Well, okay, so we did lose our shield there, and I wasn't entirely sure if we did. I didn't check, but I do think that the Yurden sign there, which is the trap that we laid, might actually be a good strategy there, because you saw how much damage we were able to do. So I think, at least once we do get them down to being just the Kingslayers, that might be the way to go.
Vanda, when will I see you?
It does require that we have some additional vigor available to us, but this is not easy. Wow. We're so squishy. We are so squishy. We take so much damage from the Kingslayers that it is,
The Witcher, alive
little to no margin for error. So, I think similar strategy. Target the mage first. Once we get down to the Kingslayers, we will start using Yurdens, trap them, and if we can get to the point where it's just one-on-one, then I think it gets even more straightforward. Not that this one is straightforward with two Kingslayers remaining, but if we can get it down to just one Kingslayer remaining, then I think that hopefully at that point we can use the thing that we were doing previously, which is just put the Quen sign on for the shield, block, wait for them to attack us, counter with one or two hits, probably just one, and then retreat, put the shield back on, rinse, repeat. Because at that point, when there's only one Kingslayer left, we are confident that, there's not going to be another one that pokes us immediately after we block. However, given how they do have that quick flurry of attacks, it did seem like once in the previous round that we blocked one of those attacks, and then or maybe we prevented the damage with the Quen, I think is actually what happened, from one of those sword swings, but then they followed up with one of their subsequent flurries and then still dealt damage to us. So even then, I'm not sure it's automatic. But we'll give it a shot. Okay, where'd the magician go? Where's the sorcerer? You are the one that I care most about. It does seem that we lost the shield. Okay, we gotta put it back. God! Anticipation of that. Okay, good, but we lost it. And we immediately lost it after putting it on there. Also not good. Out of the way. Fortunately, the Kingslayers can be walls for us. Oh, really? You hit us with that fireball? I don't know about that, which means we lost the sign shield, and then did take damage from the subsequent fireball. Lost it there as well. That might actually be one of the primary ways in which we're taking damage, is that we might be losing our sign, but I'm not really realizing it from some fireballs on occasion. And that is leaving us vulnerable to subsequent attacks from the Kingslayers or someone. Okay, oh, get out of there. Okay, mage down. That is, I think, the most HP we've ever had at this stage. Now, I do want to switch to the Yrden. Okay. Didn't get as much damage in there as I would have liked. Okay. Got some in there, but not a ton. Do need to wait for us to get our vigor back so that we can cast some more signs, put our shield back on. Okay. And now. Yep, I was gonna say, I'm assuming that you are directly behind me. Do lose a bit of time whenever we switch our signs. Which makes it a little bit unpredictable. Okay, I think that's the best we've done thus far. It'd be great if we could, focus on attacking one of the Kingslayers rather than splitting our damage. For a second there, I wasn't sure if we'd be able to do that, but we were able to. Unfortunately, we do need to make sure that we get more than just one vigor back so we can have our shield and our Yrden simultaneously in use. Like now. Except dash now. Okay, it's not that one that we really wanted to get. Did get hit there, so we will need to get the signs, or the vigor back. I do not like going in this direction as much as I like going in the other direction. Don't ask me why, I don't have a good reason, I just went past the sign again. A little flustered, in case that wasn't apparent. Okay. This one likely to be the one that does not have as much. It has more HP, rather. So we are splitting damage, but I think we'll take what we can get at this point. Take this moment to prepare to use the right side. And then, now, once we're over here on this side of the fire, we'll back over to Yrden, rather. Not Bourbon. Different place. Different thing, entirely. Okay, oh, get out of there now. Did deal a good, sizable chunk of damage there. So that was encouraging. Swap over to the right side, but then we'll need charge up a little bit more. We have done so now. I do like this formula. It is, again, slow, I know. But, have you seen how our previous attempts went? Because they weren't great. Okay, one down. That's huge. This one does not have that much HP, but it's on like half HP. I think we continue to use the Yrden. I think we continue to use that strategy. He is still directly behind us. You know, a little bit of time to do this. And then this. And then follow up with some of this. You can step right this way, sir. Thank you kindly. It's done. Thank goodness. Oh my goodness. I hated that level. But I'm glad that we finished it. Okay. So if I remember correctly, we were thinking about taking the steel sword upgrade here. I mean, I would very much like to get a armor upgrade of some variety, but I think our existing pair of gloves does have one armor on them already. So let's go with the Harpy. We we do get a level here. And with that level, I think we may be starting to approach some of the skills that are not terribly useful to us, other than maybe just this parrying right here. Because this might have been, depending on the scenario, potentially applicable in that previous round. But from here on out, I think for the most part, we're going to need to take the Vigor Regeneration. Oh, that's useful. Oh, but it's while out of combat. Yeah, maybe round 2 gives us some Vigor Regeneration even while in combat, but obviously we're going to be entirely in combat, at least for these fights here. So, but the throwing daggers, we're not really using those right now. Maybe we should, but at least as things currently stand, that's not providing any value. And the ability to redirect arrows, I honestly don't even remember how we do that. So that also, at the moment, provides no value. So we need to allocate those, though, before we have the chance of going into any of these magic, swordsmanship, or alchemy clusters, which will be the place where we'd like to be.
You should work on your dodges.
You're probably right. Now, oh, okay, before we sell anything, let's make sure we equip the silver sword upgrade that we just purchased. And yes, it does have, whoa, it has a lot more damage than what we had previously, in addition to higher chance to bleed, additional damage to harpies. I mean, if we're about to face a wave of harpies, then that would be very convenient timing. But let's give this a shot here, and at least see what we have coming up next. We've fought mostly humans up to this point, so I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if it were a monster. Werewolves do not exist in the normal game, in the campaign. So I don't entirely know what to make of this. I'm intrigued, but also certainly intimidated. So let's try throwing the trap down there on the assumption that you are going to be blocking even when we trap you. That's not cool, dude. So this first one, I'm assuming, is probably going to be an abject failure. So this one is just for science.
One more time! One more time!
Come on, get at me, bro. The problem was, yeah, you only get one hit against you, even when we trap you. It's pretty crazy. Now, can we continue to dash around in circles and reap the rewards there? Potentially. You did make us bleed, which I suppose I probably should have anticipated would be one of your things. I liked it better when we were going like this. Nope, 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 nope. I take it back. Take it back. Okay. It is a little odd that it is making the sound of steel against steel when you block, and as far as I can tell, werewolves, last I checked, are not made of steel. So what do I know? Like that. A little bit confusing. We are about to lose, yep, our shield. Means we should put it back on. Ideally, we would have waited a little bit in order to get some additional vigor back. Oh, whoa. There we go, though. First round. Not bad. Just played it defensively. A lot easier when it's only one enemy. But, yeah, so I've never fought any of those guys before. And the armor does sound very intriguing to me. The chest armor, I should say. I think our existing armor has 5 armor rating and no vitality. A little bit of resistances of some varieties. That being so, that means what? 2 incremental armor, 30 vitality. It does sound good. We don't have any armor on our existing pair of pants. It just has a little bit of resistances on them. So I would like to get decent armor on our pants, but I think if we're thinking mostly from what has the most incremental value here, the answer is still the chest plate, assuming that I'm remembering correctly what our current stats of our chest plate is. let's go this route. I might be wrong, if I am misremembering, but let's see. Like, our current chestplate, yeah, has 5 armor, so this gives us an additional 2, in addition to 30 vitality, whereas our current trousers don't have any armor, so we would have gained 1 armor and a little bit of other resistances. So yes, the chestplate was still the way to go. So that's good. We could also sell our old armor and our old silver sword now. Didn't sell the silver sword last time. Let's do that. And we're now looking at over 1,000 coins here. Oh, what? And you have armor? Is it just the stuff that I've sold to you? Yeah. Armor and weapons are just the things that we sold to you, because in the past, you did not have any of those things. Could potentially purchase some traps and explosives and potions that might help us out a bit. I'd like to hold off until we are more certain that that is something that we must use in order for us to succeed. Swallow comes to mind as something that could be very helpful, giving us some additional vitality regeneration. Getting some additional vitality on our chest plate, as we just did, I think will go a long way because we don't have a lot of life. Getting some additional armor shouldn't be bad either. Let's check out what this next round is. It is... oh, humans. Arbalist, so that's a type of crossbow, kind of, sort of. It's a range, in addition to halberdier, that's like a pike, or so similar to a pike or spear. So potentially some additional range, and then guardsman, I assume, is guy with a sword and a shield. There are a lot of them, though. So this might be a little bit more like our first battle this round with the Kingslayers. We'll see. Don't entirely know what to expect here, but let's give it a shot. I'm guessing that, yes, we ought to prioritize going for the archers first. Oh, miraculously we did not get hit there. We absolutely should have, no question. Wanted to take down the bowman there, but didn't quite manage to do so. He is down. Ooh, that was close. Okay, so and we got to allocate a skill point. It wasn't really good. Anyway. Oh, we lost our clan sign. I didn't even realize it. Hello, friend. I'd like to take down the halberdiers first, because it seems as though they might be weaker. That's kind of my impression. Say, how do you know? I don't know. Maybe we were dealing a little bit more damage to them, comparatively. Oh, okay, now get out of there. Lost the shield. Get out of there. I pressed the button. Okay, oh, we got hit. Move. Okay, we are definitely splitting the damage, but that is partially because, although I was saying I wanted to deliberately target the halberdiers, some of the other guys were presenting us some opportunities that seemed like we could capitalize on. One halberdier down. Oh, hello! Or maybe not the best timing on that occasion. Let's get a little more distance. This between us. Did not expect you to block that. Threw a little bit of a monkey wrench on my plans. I think that might be the primary reason why the halberdiers will be easier to take down than the guardsmen here, because I don't think, from what I can tell, that the halberdiers are going to be blocking at all. They did lose their shield. I imagine halberdiers probably deal less damage as well, based on how they are not as buffed, which everyone knows is the only factor in determining how much damage you deal. Okay, so now it is only that. So let's think here as to whether we want to change up our strategy at all because of that. Might be a good time to start deploying some Urdens. I think I could certainly get behind that strategy. And now that worked against the Kingslayers, which might have been kind of a similar setup to these guys. Although at least up to this point they have been easier. Oh, did block that. Oh, we lost our shield. I didn't realize that. Okay, hold on. Let's get that back on then. One of them's pretty low. He's also directly on top of us. Here. Not the best timing there, but fortunately it was at least enough to get the finishing blow there. And look at how little damage we dealt compared to how much damage we took from previous enemies. I think that is largely due to the defensive upgrades that we've made. More than anything else. I mean, it may also just be that the Kingslayers hit harder than these guys. There is that chance. Okay, we do still have the shield up, that's good. Makes it easier for us to, well, get hits. Maybe not take damage per se, but okay. I do still like the Urdin though. Oh, if we had any vigor with which to use it, that is. Mistimed it a bit in that case. We just need one little hit, like that. Comparatively, much easier. Much easier. Okay, so now we have the option of getting some armor enhancements, which may not seem like much, because it's not actual gear, but bear in mind, that does still mean incremental armor in both instances, or silver sword that deals additional damage. Now, I think I like our silver sword, so I would rather take one of these armor enhancements. As for bonus damage to signs versus resistance to bleeding, we do have a lot of enemies that have been inflicting bleeding for sure. I'm just not sure that 1% is going to make any sort of difference at all, whereas 2 additional damage on our signs might. So let's go that route. And we do, of course,
must modify that incantation.
Have, I believe, a couple of skill points. Ooh, excuse me, that's not how we allocate skill points. I believe we have a couple of skill points to use. We do, because we didn't allocate any at the end of the previous fight, but as I was saying before, I don't think any of these are going to be terribly relevant, unless Vigor Regeneration at level 2 suddenly gives us Vigor Regeneration while in combat, which it does. So that's tempting. However, there's also something to be said for just burning through the 2 remaining points we have in this area of the tree, arrow redirection and dagger throwing, so that we can immediately get over to either the sign side of the tree, where we can get a whole bunch of extra sign damage, and ultimately, if we do end up going further, bigger there, or we could go this route, the sword area, and take less damage when we get attacked from behind. Could potentially be useful. Don't know how often that's really happening, but having the ability to counter opponents' blows would be very helpful, given how many enemies have been blocking and how that's been slowing us down significantly, and that's largely the reason why we've had to resort to the Yrden. That could be a real strategy changer there, a real game changer for that reason. And additional dodge distance, also helpful when we're rolling around like crazy, trying to not get hit by people. So in some ways, I feel like, although that is tempting, long-term, it's not the right answer. Short-term, it may be, but long-term, it's not. So let's unlock the ability to throw daggers, and maybe that gives us the option, if things do get dire, to go that route in the future if we find ourselves in another difficult round in which we need to mix things up a little bit and perhaps use a ranged approach to avoid taking some damage. Okay, but with that being said, I think this is probably a good place for us to wrap up this video. Now, as I was saying before, unfortunately, there is apparently not a save feature for Arena Mode. I don't know, beats me. But for that reason, this could end up being the last Arena Mode video. It may not, depending on, you know, if this can, if The Witcher 2 can stay running in the background while I do other things, or if it will inevitably crash. So, we'll see. So, either way, hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll catch you in the next video.